everyone, welcome back again to another exciting episode of the Fancasted podcast. Proudly brings to you. Yeah, I'm going through my wrestling phase again. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Anything you can do, we appreciate it. We're just that easy going and simple. I'm one of your hosts, Barry 3D Carter. You know how it goes. Don't gotta repeat the joke. Hey, had to do it anyways. And on my side, the hardest working DJ I know, be it if it's live in person or out virtually, the man who's there for everybody, whose phone never stops ringing because he's a man of the people. My best friend, my cousin, my co-host, the other host. He's not even a co-host, he's just a host. Let's call it that way.
Somebody here.
Man, myth, legend. Who am I talking about?
DJ Rod C. Good day, everyone. Welcome to another episode. We got something for you. We got something for you. We got something for you.
Oh yeah, we went deep on this one. This one's gonna be okay. This will be a good one. So we'll get past the round table, as I like to say. So first of all, shout out to Wow Comics, right out in Kitchener. If you go out there, tell them we said hi. Look for our boy Wes. You can check out Ramon. Tell those guys that Barry and Rod said hi from Wow Comics. And for our friends out in Montreal, please go to Check Swings. Tell Trevor, tell Pierre, tell Dom, tell the rest of the crew there that we said hi. Also, you heard about it here on the Fancasted podcast. And if you want something you want us to shout out on in a store or something like that, send us a quest message in the DMs. Let's talk about it and we'll get that out there for you. And of course, the man that makes us look so pretty. If you need any kind of media done, no matter what it is, he is the man. If you care about your product, he cares about you.
Well, that's so nice. That's so
true,
nice.
though. It's true. It is well true. And if you tell him that you heard about him on the Fancasted podcast, he will give you a discount on any work that needs to be done. Rod, who am I talking about?
J Bird Digital Art.
J Bird Digital Arts. Oh,
now, I don't know if you're gonna get it. I don't know if you get a discount for bringing the echo in, but you might put a smile. You put a smile on his face. I'm sure you will.
You definitely put a smile on his face. I can tell because in every video we put up, Jay puts a comment that he loves the reverb. He loves the echo. Even to the time if you go back a couple of episodes and Rod say, DJ.
Yeah. Did I do that? Did I do that? My apologies.
Right? Jason wrote back and he says, I'm not a DJ. I can't compete with Rod, but I'll take it anyway. So, Jay, thank you for putting up with our madness, man, and being really a friend and supporter of the show. And
definitely.
Look, he wants to help everyone out there as much as possible. So, like I said, you want to do a show, something live, even something for a loved one. Valentine's Day is coming out. You want to do a nice picture or some kind of mock-up poster?
Jay's your man. Jay will take care of you.
Yeah, just this episode will be up after Valentine's Day, but we'll do a snippet and
put it in. Right on.
Jay Bird.
Let's go.
Which brings us and last but not least, keep an eye out for the comedy troupe I'm a part of, the comedy group. These guys are awesome. These are my comedy brothers I roll with all the time. Look for it, A Touch of Gray Matter. We are live. We have a bunch of shows online on YouTube. You just go there in our channel here and catch them. Some are going to be funny. Some are going to make you go, what? And then, of course, if you catch us live, that's another story altogether. All right, let's get right into it.
Let's go.
Today, as you see from the title, you're like, what? Maybe. Or you're like, oh my gosh, I haven't heard about this person in a long time. Rod, let the people know who we are talking about today in honor of Black History Month.
Black Vulcan!
Black Vulcan! That's right. If you were growing up anyhow back in the day, we're talking in the 70s, and you watched the Superpowers, cartoon.
Super Friends.
Super Friends. Thank you very much. Sorry. Super Friends. There's so much Super Friends, Superpowers, but Mighty Morphin Power. Okay, yeah, you got it. So if you're watching Super Friends back in the day, and you heard that cry, you're like, woo, we got a brother on the team. We got a brother on the team.
Woo!
Right? Right on. Black Vulcan. Now he's Black Vulcan. I'm like, okay, right on. At first, when I heard him, like, did they say Black Falcon? And it's like, no, Black Vulcan. And that's what he'd do. Every time he'd run into battle, he would scream his own name. Anyone with that level of confidence is going to have my attention.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Exactly.
Right. And once again, in honor of Kevin, confidence. That man is walking with confidence.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's funny.
He gonna give me some beats when he catches me, man. Some knuppins. Right. Yeah. Yeah. When he gets me, yeah. But it's all in fun. Kev, it's pure love, man.
Until then, keep running. There you go.
Well, his pants kind of tight. I'm not sure how much flexibility he gets in those pants.
Don't listen. You really wanted to find you. Huh? That's all I'm going to leave it at that. Well, anyway, let's get back to the Black Vulcan.
Black Vulcan, right? Black Vulcan made his appearance in the all-new Super Friends Hour Season 2. So Season 1, of course, had what we had, they said Super Friends, but we knew them as the Justice League. That's how we saw it. So that's your Batman, your Wonder Woman, your Superman, your Flash, your Hawkman, Hawkgirl. Plastic Man even made appearances on there at times.
Yep.
It was a full Justice League there, but, it was for TV at the time. So, that cartoon came out in 1977, I think it is.
Yes, it did. Let me just get to that right now. But yes, 1970. Yep. Wait a minute. I just said 1970. Well, actually, no. Hold on. Did I hit the right one? 73. Thank you. 1973.
So the cartoon came out in 1973, ran for a couple of seasons. Of course, a lot of it played again over and over and over and over and over again in syndication. Make that money. And that was a Hanna-Barbera production. Now, when they came out with this whole thing of putting this all together, they were like, okay, we got all the characters we want to do. They got the story boards put together. They're ready to go. And then, Season 1, of course, it was successful because back then that was pretty much between that Rocket Robin Hood and Spider-Man that used the same psychedelic backgrounds. That those are the cartoons we were getting. The original Fantastic Four cartoon where the Human Torch was allowed to be on the team because, they didn't get replaced by Herbie because, they didn't want kids lighting themselves on fire. I don't know who comes up with this stuff. They came up with this whole concept. Yeah, I just rattled off a whole lot there. Now, with Black Vulcan, it was supposed to be Black Lightning. Right? Okay. And Black Lightning was made by Tony Isabella. That was the creator of Black Lightning back in the day. And the Black Lightning had the honor, to being the first Black superhero with his own book in DC.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. So we're like, oh, this would be some good history. We got, this is pre-Cyborg and pre, he was the first male with his own book. He came out issue number 1, Black Lightning.
Yep.
Brother came out swinging sparks. And I was all for it. I'm like, come on, Black Lightning, do what you got to do. And Black Lightning made his first appearance, I said, issue number 1 in 1977. 1977 was a good year. Black Lightning, Star Wars. Oh, man, it was great to be a geek. It's better now, but back then we didn't have much. Y'all spoiled.
Facts.
Right? And Tony Isabella came out, made this character, got approached by Hanna-Barbera. They wanted to use the character. Now, something went down. The deal just didn't go through. Basically, it was all about the money. Money. So they didn't want to pay the royalties. Hanna-Barbera at the time didn't want to pay the royalties to Tony for using Black Lightning.
Mm-hmm.
So they turned around and they talked to their house staff that was there. I think it was Steve Toth, and said, okay, well, let's come up with a different version, maybe something similar that we can use within the Super Friends. And that's when they came up with Black Vulcan for season 2.
And
I'm like, okay. When you're watching it and as a geek, you automatically see, tomato. We all knew it was the worst kept secret in the room that Black Vulcan was Black Lightning. Two black guys with lightning based powers. Costumes still had the lightning bolts almost drawn the same way. Sometimes they drew Black Vulcan without pants. Sometimes they drew him with pants, mostly without pants. He just had a one leotard and he had a helmet on. And that was his claim to fame. You never see him without the helmet. Okay. Black, go on. Protect that secret identity. There's jokes made, and I made those jokes a little while ago when we were talking about other characters. Okay. Well, what I mentioned about Hal Jordan not having, that's not Hal Jordan. Jon Stewart not have to wear a mask because, can't tell black people apart. The mask is like, what did he look like? He was tall and black. And, geez, forget it. All right.
I think after that, I don't know.
He wore a green costume. What about that brother down there with the green pimp coat? Could be.
Shame. So dangerous.
Yeah, I know. I make those jokes. I'm a comedian. So,
yep.
Right. So, here they said he was a metahuman. I'm talking about Black Vulcan, not Black Lightning. So Black Vulcan was still considered a metahuman. Mm-hmm. He had the power of flight, electric manipulation. They said time travel. I'm not really, and I get there was an episode where he kind of time travel uses powers, but most of the time what would happen is the lower half of his body would start to spin, or it seemed like the electricity would spin around the lower half of his body, which would give him flight. It looked like he was flying in like a mini tornado made of lightning to push him forward. Yeah. And he'd get the lightning bolts and throw lightning bolts too, and sometimes he'd just shoot them straight out of his hands. I think that they had different ideas that they wanted to make the character at first like a version of Shazam, where it was like someone that would say Black Vulcan and change into Vulcan, right? Dealing with mythology and so forth like that. And they got away with it and made him Black Vulcan. So this is the character we got. Now, that being said, that means they pretty much, looked at the character and as I said, well, Black Lightning, let's say Black Lightning is the main product. Picture Black Vulcan as the version you order from Wish.
The version that takes what 8 to 12 weeks to deliver. Right.
Yes. Right. Yeah. Because they didn't want to pay the royalties. Now Tony Isabella turned around and now give you some history. Tony created Black Lightning. Right. Thank you. Tony's not black, but he created Black Lightning for DC. He created Black Goliath for Marvel. And then he wrote a really good storyline for Ghost Rider. And Tony's right. His 2-year story arc for Ghost Rider was going to really deal with the act of redemption, finding religion. And at one point, he kind of got it underneath there that, someone was protecting him. If you read the original Ghost Rider comic book with Johnny Blaze, someone's protecting him from Satan, Mephisto, not to get like trapped in there. And this guy shows up and he looks like a hippie, but clearly when you see him drawn, you're looking like, hey, it's hippie Jesus. Like he's got the robe on. It looks like what people envision your typical Jesus to look like, how he's portrayed in the media already in the past. And then there's a particular editor said, no, you're going to alienate certain people from buying our books. And just when that was about to go to print, he ripped up the storyline and forced them to make changes. So that's why that Jesus character kind of just fades out and you don't really get any more inkling because it was supposed to be Jesus. It was supposed to be revealed he was Jesus. It was supposed to be, Johnny, redeems himself, finally takes on the whole thing of Jesus, gives up being Ghost Rider. And that was the whole 2-year story arc. And that editor, that assistant editor at the time who ripped up the storyline and said, redo it again. That was Jim Shooter.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. All right. So Ghost Rider could have been different. So the reason I'm mentioning all this is just to show you his influence that Tony has had over the years. Now he's worked on many other things besides that, for many years in the industry, even worked for Disney doing some translations, but his main thing was creating Black Lightning. And just because Hanna-Barbera didn't want to give him royalties that they used the character, they came up with the Wish.com version of Black Vulcan. Not knocking Black Vulcan. I'm just explaining to you what they did to kind of get around not paying the money.
Right. Legal loopholes to get themselves without having to pay. That's all it sounds like.
Exactly. And the thing is, DC never tried to pursue it. DC was really quick when it came to like the whole, Shazam, Captain Marvel, and Captain Marvel. DC and Marvel are very quick to go back saying, hey, that's our character. Oh, that's our character. You know, it's the same thing where, Marvel made the Hulk. It's like, oh, we better make She-Hulk before DC does something called She-Hulk and take away from the character. Same thing with Wonder Woman and Wonder Man. It's like DC had a Wonder Woman before they made Wonder Man. Marvel said, we'll make a Wonder Man. So it's always this fighting going back and forth. And I'm very surprised that they didn't try to put their foot down on behalf of Tony for creating Black Lightning and then seeing on screen Black Vulcan. Yeah, I won't say his name the whole time like that. I'm not even going to lie.
That's all right. We're all ready for it. But you know what? I would honestly say, hearing all these particular stories and stuff that happened back then, again, they probably DC probably just like said, you know what? This is a one-time character. Like, you know what? It wasn't planned out to be a longevity in there.
Yeah.
It's a sad way of bringing that little piece of note to light. But I mean, it could, I could be wrong, but just hearing that, as you say, here's the list of other characters that you literally lawyered up. Make sure your briefcase is full of paper and pencils, and we're going to be writing something. We're going in. We're going to be in that court for a couple of days. And this one, crickets.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, this is why we're talking about him on the show today, right? Black Lightning's already got his flowers. He's out there. He's had, appearances all over in different types of media, from cartoons to live action, video games. He's cool. He's covered. Black Vulcan, unfortunately, he got the shaft. It wasn't him that asked to be put in this position, but it is what it is. So, with that being said, at the time, now, and we have to talk about one with the other. So, with Black Lightning, Tony turned around and said he was pissed off. He's like, well, you're not going to use my character. And then all of a sudden you hear it's Black Vulcan. He's probably shaking his fist of anger on top of the mountain somewhere going, curse you, Hanna-Barbera. Mm-hmm. So when he started his run, now Black Lightning, the original series, only ran for 11 issues. But out of spite, Tony turned around in issue 10 and wrote a story where it was called The Other Black Lightning.
Huh?
Exactly. He's like, oh, you guys want to do a version of my character Black Lightning? I'm going to do my own version of a character Black Lightning. So he wrote the storyline where it was another person going around impersonating the original Black Lightning. Right. But he didn't even have the original costume. He looked like him, but he had his costume. It was more of kind of a reddish pink costume with a shield. And he had a shield. And he was and he was telling people it was Black Lightning. This character was working at the circus, and there was a con going on in the circus. Now, the person who was running the con was this woman who owned the circus, who was doing this whole con and scam thing, was saying, hey, come and see the real Black Lightning, which was really the imposter. Right. And her name was Barbara Hanna.
Interesting.
Hanna-Barbera.
Do you see the similarities?
Barbara Hanna. Barbara Hanna. And he wrote the story. Yeah.
There it is. I see it. Okay. So.
Yeah, exactly. And he wrote the story, and it actually flew under the editor's desk at DC because they didn't even notice that he was putting in some deep cuts. He's like, and he put it through, and it came out. And they're like, oh yeah, run it. Because at this point, DC wasn't really invested into Black Lightning. It ran one more issue, so it got to issue 11, and the title was canceled. So he put it in there. And in the book, the original Black Lightning, finds out the scam is going on, fights the imposter Black Lightning, who has that kind of the shield and the pinkish, let's say rose color costume. Then, that one, the other Black Lightning, so let's say Black Lightning 2, realized he was being used. He had no idea. He thought he was really doing something good. So Barbara Hanna, conned him. And he's actually a good guy. He was a football player or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
He was a football player. So he got conned, teams up with the real Black Lightning, stops the whole thing. And then he's like, at the end of the issue, he's like, well, I guess I'm going to have to go to jail too or serve my time. And the real Black Lightning was like, no. I said you were working undercover for me to help me bust this scam artist ring. So in their eyes, you're good.
You're good.
Say nothing. Walk away real slow.
Like the penguin.
Smile and wave.
Now, I'll say, just like the penguin, smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave.
Right?
Always love that line.
So the reason I mention all this is because in the original, the first appearance of Black Vulcan, he has no backstory.
Correct.
We never see him with his mask off.
Right.
Don't know how he got his powers. It's like this brother just showed up at the front door.
Hey, how you doing?
How's it going? Hey, Superman. Hey, Wonder Woman. How's it going? Are you looking good, Wonder Woman? All right. That's all right, Hawk Girl. All right. I see you, girl. I see you. Hey, Hawk Man, what's happening, brother? How you doing, man? He's like, okay, I see you got Samurai. I see you got the Japanese guy. I see you got Apache Chief. You got the Indian guy. Okay, all right. You got the Wonder Twins over here. You got rid of Wendy and Marvin, and the dog. Okay, cool. All right, and Marvin. So it seems like you're a player short. Let me tell you something right now. I've been walking down the street. And I see you bringing all these people here of different cultural backgrounds up in here, but you ain't got no brothers? Here's my affirmative action card. I want to be on the Justice League, superpowers team. Put me on, player. Put me on. Affirmative action. High five me.
Hilarious.
And they're like, Batman, Superman looked at Batman because, of course, Batman pays the budget.
Right. Can we add him to the roster? Can we fit in the payroll? All right.
Do it. It was just a nod, just like when, Shazam fought the Superman in Justice League and he wrecked Lextown. And it's like, we'll pay for the damages. And then Superman looks over at Batman and Batman just looks at him and just kind of nods like, yeah, we will.
Yeah, we will. It's
like, it's quick for you to speak there, Smallville. Mister, I work at a newspaper, but let me ask my billion-dollar friend to cover the damages of everything I just did. Oopsies.
Hilarious.
Right? But that's my whole thing is he has no backstory.
Mm-hmm.
So now, Barry, I see maybe where you're going. People might be listening or watching and like, well, what are you trying to say? In my mind, here's where I go. You can't let the brother be out there just walking off the street and say, yeah, man, I'll put on a mask. I got lightning powers. I'm in. You got to give him a backstory. And in my mind, you need someone to take that other Black Lightning, take that character, and tie him into becoming Black Vulcan. You gotta, map out that journey. He's already got, the original Black Lightning vouching for him, right? So he's got, Jefferson vouching for him.
Mm-hmm.
He knows him, knows his character. Lightning based. It can happen. It could happen. That's great, unless you want to do something completely different. But my logic is take someone who's already been mentioned, established, no matter how vague they are, give the Easter egg. Trust me, as a geek, we will find the egg you plant.
Give us time. We'll find it.
We'll find it. So that's my 2 cents. This is why I gave all this backstory, and let's map and merge the two together like a Power Ranger coin and Zoid.
Nice.
I got moments.
All right, that's good.
Thank you. What do you think, Rod? What's your thoughts?
My thoughts. Listen, Black Vulcan is unfortunately, I can say unfortunately, happy that this character created. Unfortunately, the circumstances that he was created to be that spin-off that I Wish Foundation entity site 18 weeks of delivery type of individual. But he has some merit. And the reason why I definitely wanted to talk about him is just to show that the similarity of a character that Black Lightning, we're accustomed now to having, that character on Young Justice.
Yes.
And so forth. But if you go back in time, if you're going to say, well, the Justice League was, as far back as the Super Friends, how come that particular character wasn't there? You have your whole base, like Barry said. You got your Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman, Aquaman, Robin, even Robin.
Robin made the team.
Robin made the team. Like, what's going on here? I know he's the ward and everything, but he made the team. Yeah. We got to at least bring back and try to show why, not why. Oh, definitely is why. He wasn't there. Black Lightning should have been there. We understand due to legal reasons why he wasn't. This was their reasoning of just kind of like inputting him. So I'm okay with that. But I like hearing about it. But growing up, watching the show, at the time when I was watching it, I admit, I didn't know of Black Lightning.
Right.
And growing up, I didn't know of Black Lightning. Just knew Black Vulcan, whatever the case may be. And you get older, and you realize, oh, Black Lightning, he's part of Justice League. All right, cool. Then you see some whole hits and some clips, and like, I think his second name starts with a V, not an L. The V didn't tip over to look like an L, so something's confusing right here. What's going on with this? Who is this guy? Who is this guy? Then you start doing like the Spider-Man pointing, like who you?
Yes.
Who you?
Yes.
So that's the scenario. But I like what we found and what we were able to get to the back history of that and just see the similarities. And the wonderful thing about it, we'll get into it slightly some more as well, how you realize that it's interesting. As we're saying it right now, you realize that they basically did the same thing in regards to Young Justice.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Justice League Unlimited, how they did it again, where they kind of brought in another I wish what's another site? We won't go into name before we get sued out crazy, but another site that takes about 16 to 20 weeks to deliver type of character by the name of Juice. that appears.
There's the Wish version and there's the Alibaba version.
It's exactly the Alibaba version.
Juice. And we don't mean the movie Juice. Yo, that soundtrack was fire.
Have to bring that back. Nice. Okay, got it. Let's go. Sorry.
Right. So you're saying Juice, Justice League.
Juice and Justice League. So basically, there's now we're going to fast forward to the time of Justice League Unlimited. There was an episode, a couple episodes actually, one or two episodes where they had Cadmus, the Project Cadmus, created a team of their own type of superheroes called the Ultramen. And those Ultramen, those characters, they actually consisted of I can't even say. See, okay, major 30-second pause again. They were basically a replica of the old school of individuals. So they basically Easter egg. So the Ultramen consisted of an individual called Long Shadow, aka based off the Apache Chief.
And no truck, something like that.
Wind Dragon was based off of Samurai.
Yes.
Downpour and Shifter were based off the Wonder Twins.
Yep.
And Juice was based off of Black Vulcan.
Right. It was based off of Black Lightning. A copy of a copy.
And this is I'll say for me, I've seen that episode so many times until I did the research for this. Right. I recognize the Apache doppelganger.
Right.
I recognize the Wonder Twins doppelganger. I had a feeling about the Wind Dragon. I said, you know what, that could be that one. So it made me think this now is dipping back to the Super Friends.
So you didn't catch it at first. When I saw it first time, I was like, Super Friends. Why do you call it Ultraman and Super Friends?
Exactly. No, I got that. But then I've seen Juice. I'm like saying, so we got an electric-based guy. But I wasn't even cluing in to Black Vulcan. That's the person that until we did the research, I'm like, are you telling me that was supposed to be Black Vulcan? Okay, I'm done. Like, I had the others except for him. And I'm like, oh, you know what? You're just kind of like, well, we're taking patches from there, throw it together, Super Friends, and one extra guy. No. It was really Super Friends.
It was really Super Friends. They really said, okay, we're going to take and do another copy of a copy. Let's go. And all those characters that were brought in, they just did their own version of it. Boom, right there. Easter egg. When that episode came out, I loved it. I was all about it because it was right into the fan glory of it. I was having my geek moment. It was.
I'm having a geek moment right now. I'm a geek moment right now. If you said a copy of a copy, segue off, pin on that. Hold a pin. Project Cadmus. Are they not a copy? Don't they make copies? They made a copy of Superman, Superboy. So Project Cadmus is all about copying, all about cloning. On pin. I didn't even see that until this moment right now.
Wow.
So you said a copy of a copy.
Yeah,
I just realized like that was good.
Cadmus is just Xerox.
Is it? Xerox or Canon. Well, let me not say Canon. Say Xerox. Nobody knows about Xerox anymore. So that's
Right.
good. Right.
Staples. The machines you go in there, print stuff off, make copies. There we go. That's what Project Catamus is, right? Because they made a clone of, Superman, which is Superboy that we have. They made clones of in the Young Justice cartoon,
right?
Speedy, Arsenal, however you want to look at it.
Right. I was made into the Guardian as well. Right.
Yep.
So it's all
4 of them team up to be Longbow Security.
Which maybe we have to do an episode on that alone. I love that episode. It's all about the clipboard. It's all about the clipboard. The clipboard it's just the change. It changes everything. If it's not on the checklist. It's not on the list. It's not on the clipboard. It's not official. I'm like, dang.
Regimented.
Regimented to the core. But yeah, that's focus. But yeah, Catamus is all about cloning. That's that's what you're doing, but it was. Now I'm like literally stepping back and seeing the oval the oval composition of it. I'm like, oh, you basically cloned. Oh, you cloned a lot of people. You really cloned people.
Touche's right. Good on them. But you see, and this is what I'm saying. Like for me, Black Vulcan. Now DC likes doing and here's a comparison. Marvel and DC like doing the same thing, but they call it differently, right? And they have their own different take to it. But let's be real, a lot of it is very similar. Mm-hmm. So where you have the League, Reed Richards, where Reed Richards goes into one dimension, he sees Reed Richards from every other single dimension.
Yep.
And Rick and Morty kind of did a whole parody of that.
Yep.
Same thing, right? Where it was the whole League of Kangs, where all the Kangs from different universes all show up. All of them for Reed Richards all show up. They do that. Now, before you think, oh, man, that's an original idea. Not really. Let's go look at our friends DC that we're talking about today. Because DC doesn't do leagues and legions of so-and-so of the same person. What they do is called family. Superman family. Batman family. Right? They put everybody in a family scenario, no matter what you are. If you got that S on your chest, you're a Superman family, right? So that could be Superman, that could be his son John, and that could be Superboy, which is a clone of him. That's Supergirl, that's Power Girl, right? That's even Mon-El to a certain degree. Everyone that put that S on their chest and has the right to wear it, Superman family. Batman family, back in the day, same thing. And they still go now, even though years ago, they had their own books. It was actually a book, Superman family, and a book, Batman family.
Right.
And on top of their own titles that would do all that. And then those ones, you would even get the smaller characters. So in Superman family, they would have storylines with Jimmy Olsen, and Lois Lane would have her own story without Superman. Clark might just show up at the beginning or the end.
Yep.
Batman family had, for example, Batman, Robin, Batgirl. Alfred would have his own story. Man-Bat.
Wow. That's right.
Okay. Yep. And they would do stuff where times you would read a story and like, hey, this seems kind of out of sync, and you realize, oh, they're talking about the Earth 2 Batman, not the Earth 1 Batman in the Batman family. So DC does families. Wonder Woman has the same thing. No, let's not knock it, right? There's Wonder Woman, there's Artemis, there's Wonder Girl, there's Tora, Donna Troy.
Yep.
Okay, the list goes on. So all that, now we're talking about DC because clearly it's Black Vulcan, offshoot of Black Lightning. Mm-hmm. Black Vulcan to me can be, and here's my whole theory about this, can be part of the Black Lightning family. If we go with the theory, and I'm still sticking with my theory there, right? Let him be Jocko, who was the imposter.
Right.
Let him go off on some journey. He ends up with very similar lightning powers. He's part of the Black Lightning family. Now, Black Lightning, the character like Jefferson, already has his daughters that are part of that family. Then there's himself, of course, as that would be the head of that Black Lightning family. There'd be stories with his wife. And then, of course, Black Vulcan would be part of that family. And I'm sure I'm overlooking some other characters that are around his circle that would be part of the Black Lightning family that would be included. I mean, Flash has his own family. So I want to do this. So here's my whole thing, my spiel right now. We'll get down to it. To me, Black Vulcan and Jocko, same person in my mind. Right. Seeing that the creator did acknowledge the fact that there was another Black Lightning and it was a copy, imposter, even made, a variation of the name from Hanna-Barbera to Barbara Hanna. So all those things in there, similarities,
Mm-hmm.
I want that. I don't want another. I don't want to hear, oh, Black Vulcan is Jefferson in a different dimension. I'm done with
Right.
all the different dimension stuff. Give it
Right.
to me one dimension. Both characters exist in the exact same dimension. Only thing you got to figure out in there is how did he get his powers? That's what I want to know. If you wanted to be a hero, you're going to do everything to emulate their powers as much as possible. So if you look at Steel, Henry Irons, when he was
Yep.
Steel, he made armor to be like Superman. You look at Rhodey, he got the armor for War Machine to be like Iron Man. Okay,
Right.
so there's nothing that's stopping from the other imposter to taking on the name Black Vulcan. And maybe what would be cool, maybe there would be a mythical element involved. Maybe he found some scroll, something that got him in touch with Vulcan, and then Vulcan gave him the powers to have lightning powers. Right. And you're like, okay, Vulcan gave me these powers. I'm Black Vulcan, Black Lightning. Let's do this. Okay, electric high fives for everybody. Part of the family. Let's go forward. That's what I'm pitching right here, right now, right? To give this character relevance, to bring him back in a way that doesn't take away the past, ties it all together, and keep it neat. None of this, oh, it's from another dimension. That's an easy cop-out. It's a clone. I'm done with clones after Spider-Man. I'm done with other dimensions right now. Let's use who we have. That's my 2 cents. Rod, what are you saying? What are you saying with this character? And then after we'll get into our casting thing here.
Yeah, for sure. No. Like I like that idea because I don't want to pull away from Black Lightning. As I said, I know he was created as like the copy version kind of say, but he's here.
Yes.
So let's actually put him in here more solid. Let's give him some type of foundation. I would say, yeah, let's give him a like the family aspect really does make some good sense. Keep Jocko as being, as the main individual, the main character, the main reality of that person, and say, okay, well, how did you get your powers? Because yeah, they never went into that. They basically didn't. It's just kind of like not painful in a sense, but you know what I mean? Like you have this character who's there and you didn't give no type of backstory. Not even like saying like he tripped and fell he fell with a glass of water in his hand and he fell towards a lightning circuit and he got shocked.
Right.
As crazy as that may be, give him something. You didn't give him anything.
Didn't give him anything. But we know the only thing we know he's a metahuman. So that means that he doesn't put on a costume to get the power or anything. But yeah, you're right. Sorry. Go ahead.
Right. No, completely. So I would like to have some kind of storyline of finding out where he's from, and keep him in the same universe. I want it to be there that, like you said, it's a good parody of you're saying, like having like that type of lightning family. So keep him in the same world. Hey, he came from the East Coast or whatever the case would be, and then went to, I'm trying to remember the city that Black Lightning was at least from the TV show. And let's just say, hey, there's another individual in the country who have similar powers. Oh, really? Yeah, because perfect on this, perfect with the family aspect, because we know that Black Lightning mentors Static.
Yes,
mentors Static. So why
Black Lightning
can't
family?
Black Lightning family? That's already there already. It's already been created. So why can't we just say, there's another electric, base individual character, superhero, or individual at that time? We'll just say, like, you know what? He's at the cross path of his life. Is he gonna go hero ways, or he's gonna become a villain? You know what? I just have these powers. I don't know what to do with it. Comes down. Hey, Black Lightning. Let me see if I can help you out, my friend. And then, build it from there. But I want to have some type of story that I make it's up to the times, that's relevant enough to basically come together and build off of that. Because as I say about Static in Young Justice, even when they were like splitting off and Static was, I say, and Black Lightning went to and say, I'm going to need you're going to have to find another mentor because I won't be here anymore type of scenario, showing that at least there was making that connection for Black Lightning and Static,
right? Exactly.
To work with him kind of scenario. So yeah, I'm good with that. I'm definitely good with that.
Right. You see, that's exactly what I want, and I want his powers to function a little bit differently than Black Lightning. So to me, everyone in DC main characters or someone characters of importance do have a family around them. That's how they're always written. So it's not a league of reeds or whatever case would be. Black Lightning has enough characters around him to have the Black Lightning family to give it enough dynamic. Black Vulcan coming in there, let his powers operate a little bit differently, but the only thing that he has to keep, and I as cheesy as it is, he has to keep the battle cry. For me, I want him to keep that battle cry. I want him when he goes into battle to yell, Black Vulcan.
He had two. He had that, and he also said, Great Lightning.
Great Lightning.
Great Lightning.
He's got to use those phrases at one point, but the Black Vulcan one is the one. Great Lightning's cool, man, but Black Vulcan is the one that's up there for me. So I want him to yell at us a couple of times, just like the thing says, it's clobbering time. Avengers assemble. You got to have that rallying battle cry, and that battle cry for me is Black Lightning, as cheesy as it is. So I am what I am.
Got it.
So
No problem.
That's where I'm coming from. I want this now. Now, the play out, here we go. We're getting to our fan casting part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I took a lot of thought on this for fan casting. And I went back and forth with different mediums. And, I know I did it before and I'm going to do it again. I'm not trying to be a cop-out, but I'm going to explain why. This particular time, I wanted to be a comic book. I know usually we do like a TV show, live action, and different mediums. And I think Black Vulcan needs to be a comic book first for me to establish a proper origin. And how I say it's laid out. Let it be Jocko. Let him figure out how to get the powers. Let him use the powers. Let him come in there. Because if it's in print, therefore it's established as his history and it's canon and not like on a TV show, and then it's brought backwards and then someone's going to make it up and then they're going to do their own change on it, right? So let's go from the ground up. Everything we do, as you've said at the end of every episode, is a pencil, a piece of paper, and lots of imagination. So do that. And let's go forward. Give me a 4-issue miniseries, a 6-issue miniseries, well done, explaining how Black Vulcan came to be. And it could be one of those flashbacks where you see him in the beginning and he's in costume and everything mid-fight, and he has a flashback as he thinks he's about to die, and then it goes, oh, my life is flashing before my eyes, by issue 3, that's how I became Black Vulcan. This brought me to this fight, and then go on to the present.
Yeah.
So yeah, give me a 6-issue miniseries, do it that way. And the writer I want to do this is a writer that's really well with the culture, Christopher Priest.
Okay.
Right? Christopher Priest was the writer, and he did phenomenal writing on Black Panther. He's done great writing with Spider-Man. He's a list of characters he's written for that are, of ethnic backgrounds and non-ethnic backgrounds. And you look at his storylines, his ones are the ones that rock and roll when it has to do with these characters. I know a lot of people are going to say maybe different artists and writers, and maybe but Christopher Priest, I think he's like, he takes these ones that are a little bit sometimes tough. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the character might seem a little bit bland at the surface, and you look at it and you say, oh, let him go. Like everyone says Jeff Johns, and when Jeff Johns has done in the past with Darkest Night and all that, phenomenal. Christopher Priest has done just as equal work, easy. Let him go on this one and give me those layers and textures to take this character that is 2-dimensional right now, who has no origin, no nothing is canon. Mm-hmm. Christopher Priest gets down there, says, okay, this is the starting point. This is the obscure character that was mentioned in Black Lightning 10, Jocko, and Black Vulcan. Now, that's where the imagination comes in. He's got to bridge the gap in such a way that fans are going to read and go, oh, that's cool.
Right. Completely.
And then once that is established, we can go somewhere. So give me that, all I need is make Jocko Black Vulcan, make him part of the Black Lightning family. Let's establish the Black Lightning family, like put it out there, like how they have all the other families, make it Black Lightning family. He should have a family because he was the first, African-American character with his own book by DC from issue 1. It wasn't even try to Testament, another issue, and then gave him the comic. Issue 1, they went full in on issue 1. So give this brother his dues. He's in Young Justice. He's in Justice League with major roles. Christopher Priest is my man. So fan casting Christopher Priest, the writer, to do Black Vulcan.
Okay.
That's my sales pitch.
All right. Cool. Very nice. You know what? Hearing you saying the comic aspect, comics approach of it, that sounds good. It really does sound good. Like, I'm not even lying. It sounds good. I wanted to give it, again, I'm not doing a movie or anything like that. I wanted to give it a series, but I wanted to give it a live action series. I wanted to at least have the texture of bringing that person to life and then having people have giving them the ability to connect with him, seeing him face to face, going whatever struggles or however you're going to write it out. But again, like you said, he's completely blank. Like there's really nothing to him. We don't know nothing. So this is an opportunity for someone who can just write and just put something together and just give him, create something out of two-dimensional, like you said. Give him a past, give him a present, give him a future, give him something that basically that we can, or tangible, that's relatable to today's modern, society and what's going on. So I would like to give it, I would give it like a 4 or 6, like a Netflix series.
Okay.
Basically giving that approach. Yeah. Again, I mean Netflix, but at least giving that type of TV type of storyline. I want to go from there. And who I chose, I wanted to go with someone that we've seen before, and he was actually he's done a couple of stuff, but I wanted to go with Aaron Pierre. Aaron Pierre, if you remember from Krypton, Devon.
Yes.
Right.
Oh.
So I wanted someone again who has at least, okay. I want to have, not even saying the physique, but I just want someone who can have the ability to say, okay, I want, who will realize the potential that he has, who may have, he may have the potential within him, but doesn't realize it by himself, and then grow through his, his struggles of understanding who he is, what he's been through, his, the understanding and developing the powers. And this is where we can say he has the metagene and stuff along that line. So at what point did he have it? Was he a late bloomer? Was he an early bloomer? Who knows? But at least going through visually seeing who he is, what happened to him, and how, we have to have a tendency, the tendency to when we see a character and we can find that one that we can just click, is live, but everybody is more visual along that line. We can, I would say I want to have that type of connection to bring it in. And then, like you said, just basically grow from there. Black Vulcan. And then, like I said earlier, have the ability that he has his own life growing up somewhere else. Now we can make that canon connection to, hey, Jocko, whoever he confides in and say like, listen, I got these abilities, I got these powers. I saw something online. A hero out on the West Coast, or Central, whatever. Black Lightning. I think you got something like him. Even if we just put a canon just to make that connection.
Of course, because in DC he operates out of Metropolis.
Correct.
In DC Comics, I'm talking, not
right. Yeah,
I get you talking about not the CW show, but yes.
Right.
Yeah, easy enough.
So we can do that. So that would be, so Aaron Pierre would be my candidate for a live action 6 series show.
That's
Vulcan.
What I
go for. Black Vulcan.
All right, so I'm going comic book, you're going series. I like it. I see where you're coming from. Can we all agree though on one thing, that he has to scream out the name Black Vulcan no matter what, either written in bold or he screams out the name at one point?
Okay, I'll let. Yeah, we'll get it in there. We'll get it.
Got to get that in there, man.
We'll
for nostalgia.
Yeah, we'll get it in there. I'm sure we can write that in. Just by saying, what's about to happen? Who are you? Black Vulcan. Black Vulcan.
Right. There you go. That would make me happy. But I get your point, and I like where you're going with that and your vision. I totally see it. I can sit there and I would watch the show. Honestly, I would watch the show. I'm not just saying it to you. I'm not saying, no, I would watch that show. So that's really interesting, right? And the only thing that I would do as an Easter egg in the book is bring in the other ones, just maybe as cameos.
The other
bring in
ones
Apache Chief, bring in Samurai. If you're going to blame Black Vulcan, and just a little passing by.
Right.
Like the Legion of Superheroes has their other version, which is the substitute Legion of Superheroes for the guys that went and the men and women that try to get into the Legion, failed the test, and they form their own Legion where, so let them be their own little offshoot team forming. There's a lot of possibilities there, but we'll discuss that another time. So that's my thing. I'm going comic book. You're going series. Any last words, cuz?
You know what? No, I think this would be good because at least in the vision I'm having, I wanted to do this where we're introducing people to another, it's an old comic book character.
Yes.
Or a cartoon character, an old, character, but give it a new life and just basically introduce them by saying, I have no idea who this person is. I will say this is because my mind, I came across Krypton. Because again, Krypton, the way that Krypton show was, that was like, they created that literally after midnight, it just came to them kind of scenario. Like there was nothing prior to this. There was nothing thinking about how that TV show Krypton came. And it pulled people in. So I want to do something along that line.
Yeah, that's a good call. I like that. Good. Touche, man. Very well done. Very well done.
Thank you.
Well, this brings us to the end of another episode. Thank you very much for everyone tuning in. Once again, I'm one of your hosts, Barry 3D Carter. Here we go. Barry 3D, sitting with my cousin and my co-host, the one and only
Rod C. Let's go.
Wow. And that's what we got to do. This has been the episode on Black Vulcan in honor of Black History Month. And we're wrapping it up with this character. Obscure? Yes. Could be interesting. Could be well done. Be it if it's a comic book or a limited series. Yes. Hope you enjoy it. Let us know in the comments below or wherever you see our social media. You see where we're posting all the time. And on that note, as I said a little bit earlier, and I'm going to say it again, this whole world was started with a pencil, a piece of paper, and lots of imagination. Keep on dreaming.
Let's go.
Black Vulcan!
Great lightning. Great lightning.
How much is the electric bill? Yeah. Get the gerbil.
Bruce? You'd be
put the gerbil in the wheel.
Yeah, it'd be like saying, Batman, could we cover that? Bruce to the rescue with the check. Oh.
Bruce Wayne's bank account to the rescue. Bruce Wayne's bank account to the rescue. Bruce Wayne's so rich he doesn't even have a credit score. He just shows up and they say, give him more. Bruce Wayne's bank account. Okay, I'm done. All right, we're out.